Philippines back in 2011. Known as Lolo. He has since sadly passed on. And currently the largest and also the oldest that we're aware of in captivity is a fellow that lives up in northern Queensland known as Cassius. Cassius, over 6 metres despite missing part of his nose. Good boy. That's yours. Yours. Good boy. Touch over 6 metres despite missing part of the snout, part of the tail. And currently 115 and still powering strong. Now the average lifespan for these creatures, it tends to range around the 80s to 90s, but it is quite capable of these animals. You finished? It is quite capable for these guys to well exceed the 100-year range. Now, Shrek here, as you can see, he is quite an impressive fellow. He currently measures in at 4.65 metres in length and weighs in at around anywhere between 500 to 600 kilos these days. Now, we estimate Shrek's age to be somewhere around the mid to late 40s. And what that means is that Shrek, he does have a nice long life out there ahead of him. Now, the reason why we don't know when Shrek's exact birthday is that Shrek's origins stem from the wild. He's a crocodile that grew up in the waterways of the Northern Territory and has only been in captive life now over the past 15 years. Now, Shrek found his way into captivity when he was identified by the Northern Territory's Wildlife Commission as being a problem or a rogue. It was at that point in Shrek's life that he was captured and moved on to a nearby crocodile farm. And from there, he had to patiently wait out until such time that he could find a new permanent home. And it's a touch over 5 years ago that Shrek made his way here to Port Macquarie. And since then, he really has become quite a settled and a gentleman among the big giants out there. Now, he still is essentially a wild animal, and he still does like to go through a number of his natural behaviours. What Shrek's about to do for us any second now is a type of feeding behaviour that would be a bit unnatural for a crocodile of his size out there in the wild. I tried to give that to you on the return trip, you missed it. There you go, good boy. Now, what we saw just there, it essentially looks like a well-timed trick, but it is 100% natural behaviour. And that's one of the very earliest forms of hunting or feeding that Shrek developed out there in the wild, known as a tail walk. It's basically where the crocodile uses the strength that it has within that tail to rocket its body out of the water up into the air. As a hatchling crocodile, Shrek would have used that to push himself out of the water to snatch up small insects, things like grasshoppers, dragonflies, and then as time went by and as Shrek got bigger, so too did the food. By the time Shrek was around 2 to 3 metres in size, he would have still had the ability to hide underneath the water surface in the fraction of a second, lunge over 2 metres into the air to be able to snatch up unsuspecting birds and flying foxes that were flying over the water's surface. With a couple of extra metres on board and a number of years, he's also got quite a number of kilos extra as well. Basically, since the days that Shrek was around 2 or 3 metres, he's a good 300 or 400 more kilograms heavier. That really slows things down. What it means is that tail walking technique, it just isn't an effective way for a big fella to feed. Unlike a smaller crocodile that can be essentially hidden away underneath the water until just the right moment, with Shrek, you can see how he's got that very large, distinctive head out of the water trying to get himself lined up. Bit of turbulence in the water as he powers up, and then we're looking at anywhere from around 1, 2 or more seconds for him to get to his desired jump height. And it's those precious seconds that are going to potentially cost him dinner, allowing his food to change course or altitude to get out of the way of those jaws. This is just one of many reasons why the big fellas out there, they'd sooner prefer to feed much closer to the water's edge. Feeding in the shallows, it really does give these guys a much bigger menu to choose from. They can eat practically anything: fish, a variety of small animals, and feed on anything up to about the size of a water buffalo. It's within that shallow water too that the sheer size and weight really comes into the crocodile's favour. Now, despite how slow and graceful Shrek was in the air just before, underneath the water surface, completely different environment. Under there, despite his size and weight, he's capable of a cruising speed of 29 kilometres per hour. He can cruise that speed without ending up setting a ripple on the surface. Despite his sheer size and mass, a large crocodile can capably hide itself underneath the water surface, even in depths as shallow as only about 2 feet deep, about knee depth. Now, we can see Shrek pretty clearly where he is in his pond here. However, up there in far northern Australia, living in that wetland, murky, muddy estuarine environment, that murky water really does conceal him beautifully. It enables a large crocodile to sneak in very, very close to its prey, essentially getting those jaws within a couple of feet or a couple of inches away. I said the crocodile can patiently wait and buy his time. A combination of many millions of years of highly tuned instinct, incredible hearing, eyesight, taste and smell, but sensory receptors that are dotted along that crocodile's jaws, looking closely, they just look like little goosebumps. Each and every one of those is 10 times more sensitive than our fingertips. Right now, Shrek can not only see me waving at him, he can feel that. He can feel the movement of the leaves on the water surface. He can feel the tap of my toes on the bank there. Underneath the surface, it's all that information that tells the crocodile when and where to strike. As soon as his prey comes down to the water's edge, lowers the body, getting the head down towards the water, that's when the crocodile's ready to go. A powerful thrust of that tail can potentially send a 4-metre crocodile up to 10 feet up onto the riverbank. He can swing his body into the side and then close down at those jaws. Now, for a crocodile over 4.5 metres, they have the potential ability to produce a biting force, good boy, come on, to produce a biting force of around 3,500 pounds per square inch. It ramps up to be the most powerful biting force of any animal that's alive on our planet today. That's yours. Good boy. With the sheer power in that jaw, coupled with those 64 very thick, strong teeth, and then when you put that onto a muscular body weighing anywhere from half a tonne or more, it really does paint a picture as to why these animals are still today one of the world's most well-built apex predators. Now, at that size, in the wild, there's just no question, he's at the top of the food chain. To get there though, that's really the trick. Now, ironically, Shrek started off life right down at the bottom of the ladder, right down in the mail room. As a hatchling crocodile, he was only around 20-25 centimetres. At that size, before he even gets out of the egg, he's even got the odds stacked up against him. Survival of crocodile nests out there in the bush, very up and down. Just takes an early wet season to flood the nests. It can take water buffaloes having a bit of a frolic to crush a crocodile's nest. Goannas, wild boar, wild dogs, they also don't mind digging up the nest to feed on the eggs either.